Libra, here is your November 2022 horoscope. Self-worth is a giant theme for you for the month of November. You're going to be questioning whether or not you feel like you're in alignment with the work that you're doing in the world, or if you're getting paid enough for the work that you're doing in the world. This is a time for you to reflect on any feelings of self-doubt or insecurity when it comes to energy exchanges, but predominantly energy exchanges that have to do with material resources like your money or things that you share with other people. It also has to do with your perception of self. So if you feel like you are unworthy of having more, if you feel like you're unworthy of making more, this is a really positive time for you to reflect on the reasons why and heal any of the doubt around charging what you're worth. And sometimes, the area in which this is hitting in the chart for Libra does have a lot to do with money, but a lot of our relationship with money is also tied to the way that we were taught about money or financial stability by our parents, right? So a lot of the way that our parents relate to money or their idea of their own worth has a lot to do with how we extend that into our lives. So there's a lot of people in the world that have, a very frugal mindset, even if they have a lot of abundance. And a lot of that can have to do with trauma from their past of maybe, not having a lot of needs met from childhood, or maybe there was a trauma in the family around finances to some capacity that is still triggering the person that, the Libra person that this chart is of today, right? So you're carrying that trauma with you throughout your life, sometimes in a subconscious way. It's not necessarily reality. And so, if you have a poverty mindset, or you have a mindset that is, sorry, my dogs are excited about something in the yard. If you have this mindset that you never have enough, or you can never do enough, or you're never making enough, that mindset alone isn't always the reality of the life that we are living. Sometimes it is. Sometimes people are very much in that situation. And if you're finding yourself in that situation where you're not making the amount that you feel like you should be making, this is a time to reflect on that. Hold on one second. So the way that I tend to view a lot of issues in the chart around our self-worth when it comes to money or energy exchanges is usually a deeper rooted issue. It's not about my boss not valuing me or paying me enough. It's about, how did I end up in a situation where I said yes to an energy exchange that I'm actually not okay with? That's the bigger issue. A lot of times people, when you need a job or you need some kind of professional standing, you say you're in a desperate place. A lot of people are, not everybody, but a lot of people are. And so you'll say yes to anything a lot of times. And then you're really excited. You got the job, you got the acceptance from that higher up person. And then, the first couple weeks you get into the job and maybe you realize that you signed up for something that you don't feel like is a fair energy exchange, or you're not happy with. Nobody is forcing you to work that job, but a lot of people will stay in a situation that they're unhappy with because they have low self-confidence, or they don't feel like they're worthy of more. And so it's important that you reflect on, if you're in a position where you're feeling like you're undervalued, you're underpaid, seeing kind of where your own belief system has helped you be okay with accepting less than what you really feel like you're worth. We also live in a time that's just hard for a lot of people right now. A lot of us have to do things that we wouldn't normally want to do. There's also certain things we have to earn, right? So I think that there can be, in certain generations right now, a sense of entitlement where I should just get all this money or all this praise for little work. And I think that finding, how much work are you willing to do, and what is a realistic expectation out of yourself that others should have of you? How much do you really want to put in? and how much do you think you should get for how much you really want to put in. Like the energy exchange goes both ways, right? The boss has to have a fair energy exchange with you, the employee, or you, the employee, have to have a fair energy exchange with the boss. If you're the boss, you know, you might feel like your employees are never satisfied. You might feel like they're taking advantage of you. You may feel like you can never do enough for them. And so those are all energy exchanges, right? And we can't, you know, changing jobs and having different bosses and having more money doesn't always heal the inadequacies that we're feeling. I can't tell you how many times I've made more money and that feeling of inadequacy or like it's never enough is still there. I can't tell you there's times when I've made hardly any money and I feel really good about myself. And so this is, I'm talking about this because this is the chart for Libra for November, are these themes. So thinking about self-worth, your value, it's not always financially related. It's not always related to your job. When I first became self-employed, you know, there was so much that I blamed on my boss and my job. And when I became my own boss and I was responsible for myself and my business, the only person I could blame was me at the end of the day. And it really called me out on where my own inadequacies in my own head were. And it helped me see what was my job versus what was me, because some of it was my job or jobs that I've had in the past. So it's an important distinction to make in your mind when you're thinking about self-worth, because we put in a capitalist society, we put a lot of our self-worth on how much money we make. I'm super guilty of that, or the way that we're praised by others, or the way that we're praised by the people that we value. And I think one of the things that can be positive is operating from a place of worthiness regardless of those things, and looking at energy exchange as something you either want to do or you don't want to do. You either want to do this or you don't. You either signed up to work at this place or do this work, or you didn't. And if you signed up for it and it's not in alignment for you anymore, this is a great time to reflect on that and ask yourself, what is in alignment for me? During this time, you might find with the Mars retrograde that you're evaluating whether or not you want to learn more about a subject that you either started learning about and forgot about or left, or maybe you're currently in that field, but you have an opportunity to grow within that field. This is a good time to reflect on that and see if you want to do continued education. If you are in a teaching profession by any chance, this is also a really positive time for you to reflect on the curriculum and if there's any differences in the structure that you want to make or implement over time. This is a positive time for you with that. The November 8th lunar eclipse is going to be hitting in an area that has a lot to do with how you share yourself with others. And it could impact your closer relationships in an intense way where you feel like it's time to you change some of the relationship dynamics around how you're communicating with that sense of self-worth. Energy exchange is a huge theme for you. So not just in the work you're doing, but also in your personal relationships. The new moon, that's happening in Sagittarius on the 23rd is also going to be a really positive time for you to kind of reflect on the way that you're communicating your needs with others. I think that Libra has a hard time being direct and sometimes being okay with having hard conversations. So Libra can sometimes suppress a lot, and then by the time it comes out, it's too late, or it can create more conflict than what Libra originally intended. And so the last half of November might be a lot of conflict resolution around communication dynamics that you've been avoiding. And this is a really positive time for you to grow and evolve the way that you communicate yourself and your belief systems and what you feel you're worthy of from relationship dynamics. This is also a really good time to expand the way that you think about things when it comes to your belief system. So if you've had one set of views about the world, you might feel a big shift towards the end of the month that you're starting to be more open to seeing things from a different perspective or from a different lens. So yeah, this is a powerful time for you. And I think that Libra does have a tendency to procrastinate, and this can also affect your ability to time manage appropriately in your life. And this is a really good time to start thinking about ways that you can help yourself effectively time manage. And you might see some conflict arising by the end of the month around other people being impacted by your inability to time manage effectively. And you might have to have a little bit of a talk with yourself on how you're going to make sure your own needs are met while still not having it maybe impact some of your relationships in a negative way. So those are big themes for you. When it comes to your sobriety, because sometimes you procrastinate, you are prone to maybe being a little lazy at times. And I think that one of the things that might help you is, instead of feeling resistant towards your responsibilities, and so then defaulting into maybe behavior patterns that don't really support you, you schedule time to be lazy, schedule time to, call it fuck off time, put that on your calendar, meet your responsibilities and time manage and set yourself up for success so that you can earn your fuck off time. Essentially, I think every Libra would benefit from penciling in fuck off time. You might find yourself feeling less resistant towards the mundane responsibilities that you have on your calendar. That is my 2 cents for you, Libra, for November 2022. Good luck.